A question I get asked quite often when I start talking about debt strategy is, can you explain to me why is it better to pay one debt rather than paying a small amount to all of the debts each single month? Well, first of all, I just want to clarify that the snowball method that I am a proponent of, I'm not ignoring the other debts. So you are still going to be paying small amounts on those debts. But because I'm a proponent of the snowball method, I am going to tell you to focus on one debt per month until it's gone. And the reason for that is twofold. One, it's human psychology. If we don't feel like we want to do something, or if we don't feel like it's working, we quit. That's the way our brains are wired. If we don't feel like we're getting any momentum, that's why consistency is the name of the game. But usually we always give up before we've reached the end because we don't feel like we're getting the results quick enough. So I like to use the snowball method so that we still pay on all of the debts, but we focus on one to get it paid off, which we create then our own win, which then in turn gives us momentum and motivation to keep going with the plan. So that's one reason I bring in the human psychology behind it. The second reason is because I want to leverage your money to work for you instead of against you. And here's what I mean by that. Let's say you have 5 debts and each of them are $100 a month in minimum payments. So we're going to use simple numbers for simple math, okay? So you have 5 debts, $100 every month. That's $500 total. Now you have also strategically found another $1,000 to place on those debts. So you have 2 options, right? You could take that $1,000 and you can spread it across all 5 debts. So you would take 1,000 divided by 5, $200, add it to the $100 minimum payment, and you consistently pay $300 a month to all 5 debts. Okay? That's option 1. Over time, that can seem like a slug, right? Because you consistently will keep paying the $300 on all 5 debts every single month, but you don't necessarily see the result of any of them getting paid off any quicker. Okay? So that's option 1. Option 2 that I like to use in the snowball method is I take that same $1,000 and I'm going to plop it on the smallest debt first. So I take the smallest debt that I owe the $100 a month on, add the $1,000 to it. So that means that that smallest debt is getting $1,100 every single month. In the meantime, all 4 other debts are still getting their $100 a month. So you're paying $1,100 on one and $100 on the other 4. Now, by placing that $1,100 on that first small debt, that small debt should get knocked out a lot quicker than if you were to only pay $300 a month on it, right? So that creates the momentum. That gives us our win to say, oh my God, I did it. I paid off one debt, never to be seen again. So then once that first debt is gone, now we're going to move on to debt number 2. So we're going to take that same payment of $1,100 and we're going to roll it into debt number 2 and add it to that $100 payment. So now debt number 2 is going to receive $1,200 a month, and then we're still left with 3 debts getting $100 a month. Okay? So we're still paying the same amount of money overall, right? We're just strategically placing it where it needs to be to get the biggest bang for our buck and the quickest method. That's it. So debt number 2 is gone. So that $1,200 now gets rolled into debt number 3. So now debt number 3, you add the $100 minimum to the $1,200, you pay $1,300 on debt number 3. And then you continue this until you get to debt number 5, and then it's all gone. So you see what we've done here is we have leveraged the wiring in our brains that want to make this fun, right? That want us to see results, that want us to get the motivation because we don't feel like doing it after a while if we're doing the same thing over and over and not seeing the results, right? And it leverages that same $1,000 to work for us instead of against us. So instead of making yourself go broke and saying, I just got to get this debt paid off, I'm going to take $1,000 on this debt and throw it on this debt and $500 on this debt and over there, we're strategically leveraging extra money of $1,000 onto all 5 debts until they're paid. So that's why I am a proponent of the snowball method, because it's giving us the motivation to keep going. It's given us those wins along the way. And it's allowing us to even out our cash flow, because we're only spending that $1,000 where it needs to be. So instead of finding $1,000 for debt 1 and then another 500 for debt 2 and another 300 for debt 4, plus paying the minimums, we're only spending the 1,000 in this example, right? Every example is different. With my current client, she's been paying on the same line of credit for almost 3 years. You know what that's like, right? Line of credits, they're really easy. You pay on them, you spend them. You pay, you spend, you pay, you spend, you stay in the cycle. Well, because we're applying this particular method to it, she is now on track to be debt-free by 2027. All because we've strategically looked at the snowball method to start with small and go to long. Okay? So that's why I'm a proponent of the snowball method. And that's the kind of response you're going to get when you download my debt reduction calculator from my website. This is why I use it. And this is what you're going to do when you get that calculator. You're going to list all of your debts. You're going to put in your minimum payments. And then you're going to go strategically find any extra money. Could be $1,000, could be $100, could be $200. It doesn't matter what the number is. If you can find an extra bit of money, start with the smallest and then keep rolling it to go to the largest.